All right, Israel Adesanya, which I'm still learning how to say. So before you guys roast me, I'm gonna call him Izzy. But I thought he answered a lot of questions last night. I really did. Let's go back to the narrative before he got this fight. Some people were saying it was too much too soon, and this is a prospect, and you should carry him. I reject that narrative because the premise of it doesn't sound right to me. If you're protecting him, then that means what? You're not thinking about the opponent. You're bringing in guys you think he can beat. We see a little bit of that in MMA, but not much. I mean, very little, very few examples. That's really the boxing model. Something that mixed martial arts got away from the very beginning. I think it's a good thing. I don't like the idea of carrying somebody or the promotion trying to pick who's going to win and who's going to lose, as opposed to putting guys out there. But I did think that Izzy was up against it a little bit, not only in that Brad is a super tough opponent, but Izzy in his previous fight did fatigue greatly. And, you should go out there and get tired in a match. You should go out there and give all your energy into a match. But it was a 15-minute atmosphere. And with Brad being in the main event, it was a 25-minute situation. And I thought that could be some questions. And he pushed right through it, right? He dealt with that pressure. He dealt with he had a lot of hype around him. But he also had to close out the night. And, being in that main event spot, it's different. And it's only slightly different, but it's different. And he's still young in this. He's very, very new to mixed martial arts, and regardless of how much experience he had in kickboxing, it is something new, and he passed all those tests. He dealt with adversity. He pushed through. He learned how to conserve that energy in rounds 4 and rounds 5. I thought his wrestling defense looked very good, which a lot of people questioned. Still something he needs to work on, but that's what the fight's about, right? You go out there and do the fight, and then you learn. What is it I've got to work on? So I thought there were some major pluses for him there. And I hear comparisons to him and Anderson Silva, which I think with some of his movements and his ability to strike you from different angles and with some techniques that some of us in mixed martial arts aren't familiar with. I think that those comparisons to Anderson are very fair, but I also think he needs to be given the opportunity to blaze his own path. And as you look forward and who's going to be next for him, I'll be very curious. He doesn't seem to be scared. I mean, he as recently as this week was taking shots at Yoel Romero, which you would think matchup-wise, for a guy who needs to work on his wrestling, you would think that that'd be a very intimidating guy, maybe even the last guy whose name would come out of his mouth, but he had no problem with it. Called Yoel a cheater. I mean, he fired some shots at him, and all of a sudden, and I don't argue that we're going to see that matchup or that we're going to even see Yoel back in that weight class, but I think that it did show us Izzy's not scared. He came out and did an interview, said, I don't want to be babied. Some people were saying in the UFC, they should bring this guy along and rise him up, and I really don't love that idea. I love the idea that the guy can either stand or fail on his own, and one thing that we do see in mixed martial arts is a guy's given an opportunity over and over again. I don't think we have the same story of George St. Pierre's career. Did he not go out and stub his toe against Matt Hughes the first time? I usually see guys that get beat come back much better. And the true competitors do, and the true competitors rise up. And you can make your decision on how his career should be carried along and who he should fight next. But I, for one, I'm going to sing his praises. I'm going to sing his praises not only for his skill set, but for his mental approach and for his courage.